Eat the evil man.
Yeah.
Probably tastes good. Eat the man. Eat the man. Eat the bear.
We're keeping the bears. We're keeping the bears. Eat the man. Eat the man.
That's the cold open. This is our friend and coven member, Miss Caroline. Welcome. Oh, we have to cheers.
Okay.
Duh.
Yay.
Nothing like red wine in the morning, you know?
I
choice.
don't, actually.
We're 8 minutes away from the afternoon.
Yeah.
The wineries are open.
Great.
So
Oh yeah, you said that like you were losing sleep with red wine,
true.
right? Like couldn't go back to sleep?
Honestly, if I drink too much, I lose sleep anyway.
Wow.
Yeah. It's really annoying.
That's interesting. I feel, well, since you said that, I've tried to like clock it and try and notice it. Mm-hmm. And I feel like you're right. Like the nights that I have, well, when I have too much red wine, not like a glass, but like, you know, more. I'll wake up and I can't go back to sleep.
That's it. You can go to sleep just fine because you're lulled by the drowsy sense of being drunk. And then you're like, and I'm up at 2 a.m.
And then you're just sitting there, thinking about everything.
Yeah, from a lot of people, to be honest.
Yeah.
And then also, like, it interrupts, like, how deep your sleep can be, so that's why. All alcohol does, but.
Your REM, for sure.
Good to know. Okay, today we're going to talk about interview with the vampire. Not a vampire, the vampire. I messed that up probably my entire life.
I think same, honestly.
Yeah, but oh well. We picked this, well, we didn't pick this movie. You picked this movie.
I did, yeah.
Tell us why.
Well, so you challenged me to find something that was from my most recent hometown. And while New Orleans is a film town, a little less right now, but it is a mini Los Angeles. This is always, the interview with the vampire has always been a favorite of mine. I actually read the book in high school, and my teachers were like, "What are you reading that big old book? What are you doing?" So I've always loved Anne Rice, and not everyone. I feel like there's a huge population of people in New Orleans who are obsessed with Anne Rice. And
Oh wow! Is she New Orleans based?
Yeah. Well, she's passed now, but she has a house. She has a vampire ball. So she's quite her house. Iron fences are very popular in New Orleans, and her house had little skulls on the iron fence. It was very cool. Very
cool.
classily done.
Ooh, is she like super goth?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I love it.
She's like
Before or after writing her book?
I don't know enough about her history, but I will look it up now that you asked me.
I did read that her daughter passed away before she wrote the book, and so Claudia might be a representation of her young daughter that passed away.
I did not know that.
So quick googs as I was looking at these.
Quick googs.
Oh God! No wonder there's so many like triggers up in this tale. This episode of the Movie Moms is brought to you by Sacrooted. Sacrooted is a local apparel company based here in Sacramento, and their mission is to bring us all together one shirt at a time. All of the materials used in these shirts are here from Sacramento. It's printed here in Sacramento. Everything is locally based, and their mission is to build up the community here. And we love them and support them and thank them for sponsoring our amazing podcast. You can find your Sacrooted apparel at sacrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com. Okay, so we'll talk about this movie. And then we'll do some mom pro tips, which I'm really excited about. But anyways, let's talk a little bit more to Miss Caroline. How long have you been in California?
Just under a year. It'll be a year in November.
Oh my God, I thought it was longer. No?
No?
Great.
No, I'm a newbie.
Feels like much longer. No,
I
do try. Yeah.
And then you are also a mom, obviously.
Yeah.
Are you down to tell us a little bit about your kid?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. I am the mom of a 7-year-old boy named Charlie, who is just a very lovely, wonderful little boy. Always dancing. Yeah. Tons of energy. Super, super sweet. And also just loves potty humor so much.
Tell me a 7-year-old boy who doesn't.
I know, right? Tell me a 40-year-old.
That's actually true. Gotcha.
Yeah, so he's just wonderful, and we love him dearly.
Yeah, and you're the only mom in our little coven that has a only child like me.
Yep.
Not to brag.
One and done.
Yeah. Okay, so how has the move been? Like, how has your transition from New Orleans to California been?
I mean, I won't lie. It was incredibly dicey on the front end. I still own and operate a business in New Orleans that is New Orleans based. I have about 30 clients back in New Orleans, 4 full-time employees. And so moving out here was complicated and full of strife because I very much missed my place. I kind of didn't think I would ever leave New Orleans. I really found my people. I'm in a bunch of Mardi Gras crews. I still am. Obviously, I created a business there. It's all, we help small businesses. So I'm like very tied into the small business culture there. And
what do you do for small businesses? Like, tell us more.
Sure. So my company is called Caroline Rosa Marketing, and we help small businesses with their online and social presence. So we do content creation, content collection, like we go to events for wedding vendors and stuff like that, and, gather video and photos that would help sell their business. So we're very return on investment focused and always looking out for how our folks make more money. So we do a lot of guerrilla marketing too, which was a little sad for me to be away from, because I do love like, hey, we should go try this, we just got this restaurant, like let's all go eat there and we'll take pictures. And it's just, it's wonderful and the community is really strong, and it was very difficult to leave. That being said, once I kind of accepted that this is where I was and I met all of y'all and, Charlie acclimated so quickly because of your kids. The school he was at when we first came was not a good fit. And I think with the, not really influence, because you guys weren't pressuring us whatsoever, but like the fact that we've moved him to the school and we get to walk all together and it feels very community based, watching him acclimate quickly and love it really helped me love it.
Are you looking to expand services locally?
Yes. So, yes, that is a goal soon. I really wanted to make sure, I wanted to give it a good solid year of not doing that, because I wanted to make sure my New Orleans clients felt incredibly taken care of, and that, even the business is remote based anyway. Like I didn't have an office in New Orleans. Like I work from home, all my employees work from home. So that wasn't that big of a difference, but seeing them weekly at different shoots and stuff, that's a huge difference. So I wanted to make sure they felt incredibly taken care of before I took on anybody out here. And we're just about to hit that year mark. So I actually joined the board for the Sacramento Mardi Gras crew, and thought that would be a good way for me to meet small businesses in the Sacramento area in a more organic way, because I really built the business on organic relationships. I already had people who already trusted me, and it was easier to build the business because they're like, oh, we know what you're doing. Right. So
that's cool. I admire it, because social media drains me so quickly, and so to be in that space is like, it takes so much energy, I feel like, and so much like creative foresight to just like post something. It's amazing.
What we've found, so my whole team is made up of creatives. So I have a drag queen, I have a comedian, and she does so many things, but comedian is like her, most creative side, but we're all costumers because we live in New Orleans. I have an actress, I have dancers, like I've got so many creatives on my team on purpose. And what we've learned is that small businesses just get so drained. Because you go into a small business thinking, oh, I'm so good at this one thing, I can't wait to have a business where I do this one thing. And then you quickly find out, like, no, you can't just do the one thing. You have to do payroll and taxes and social media and advertising and, hiring and firing and managing. And you're like, okay, I'm so tired.
Well, thank you for sharing. I appreciate you.
That's the one. One of the main things I think Jesus was really confused about was save the best wine for last, because that's just a ridiculous
No, you got to start with the best, because you're going to remember that. By the time you drink the whole bottle, you're not going to notice if it's good or bad.
Save the best bite for last. Yes, I'm here for that.
I hear you.
Wine? No, nobody's
No.
Unless you're getting a one done bottle of wine.
No, you gotta, start with the best. I agree.
Jesus.
Sorry, Jesus. You're wrong. Wrong. Oh, Jesus? Wrong. Okay, I do want to know about, I know this was filmed in 1994. 1993 probably they filmed it. You were not that old. But do you remember movies being filmed? Oh, you weren't there when you were little.
No.
Okay, never mind.
No, I did visit. I visited when I was like 11, so well, not that early. In 84, I was pretty young.
94.
Oh, in
84, you were in
84, I wasn't born.
In 84, I was not that yet.
Actually, I wasn't even a thing. Okay, got it. Yeah. So you've seen the where they filmed, or no?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Wait, have I seen them now?
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
It was definitely part of the fun of rewatching it recently, because I don't think I've seen it other than we watched it for this. I don't think I've seen it in a while. I don't know if I've watched it since I moved to New Orleans, and it was fun trying to guess where things were filmed. And I was pretty dead on for the plantation stuff for sure. They're very notable plantations. Then watching, I wanted to look up if like they actually filmed in the French Quarter, or if that was like studio, or if it's enhanced. So I did not look that up. I do want to.
I bet you it was practical. I bet you they were there.
Yeah.
Just because of the timeline.
I was saying that I think Tom Cruise enjoys New Orleans, because he filmed one of the Jack Reacher movies there, and I was an extra in. Yeah. I met Tom Cruise. He shook my hand.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How tall?
He's actually a little shorter than me. I thought he was going to be like the same height as Ben. Ben's got like a quarter of an inch on me, maybe.
Sure.
And I thought, but he was shorter than both of us.
Oh, well, yeah. I thought he was like 5'5". Like, I can't imagine.
I am 5'5".
No way. You're taller than that.
I mean, I pretend like I'm 5'6", but
I feel like you're almost as tall as me, right?
bitch, no. I just have a big ass energy.
Great.
I do find that's a cute thing, though. Like, if you have a big energy, I always assume you're taller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, and you do wear heels a lot, too. Like, even your sandals have heels sometimes.
True that.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, you're right. I thought you were like 6 feet. I don't know.
6 feet? Oh, thanks, bitch.
Okay, so you've obviously seen the movie before motherhood.
Yes.
I had to as a horny teen. But Miss Emma, you hadn't seen it until
was my first time.
a couple days ago. Well, let's talk about it. How was it for the first timer?
I guess aged in the sense that effects have come so far, but they were cool because where you can still acknowledge like Star Wars, that was cool. But like my vampire knowledge is based off of growing up as a Twilight fan.
Right. As a proper Twilight fan.
Yeah, as Team Jacob fan.
Oh.
Thank you.
Rebel.
Yeah. Warm brown boys, please. Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't even look up like what the movie was about, so I didn't know if I was expecting like a comedy or like what to expect beforehand.
The synopsis of Interview with the Vampire is the adapted novel by Anne Rice, who also wrote the screenplay. She says a vampire tells his epic life story: love, betrayal, loneliness, and hunger.
Something I found really interesting is where, like, in movies or stories that you read, and maybe in life, like, you want to find, like, you're, like, waiting for the redemption, especially in movies. Like, where's the redemption arc? Like, oh, starts out a little cringy, especially now, he's a plantation owner, he wasn't necessarily, they don't paint him as, like, the worst guy, but obviously, you weren't the best.
Yeah.
You were okay with, with some shitty stuff.
Eating people.
You're like waiting. You're like, oh, he doesn't really want to kill human. He did. Maybe he won't. Maybe he will. And throughout the whole story, they just leave it like he almost wants to do the right thing, but in the end, he's still a vampire. And but leaving that open of like that, like let me find the redeeming quality. Like, let me. You're searching for it, and it never comes, and then you're left to like question, kind of like. I don't know. Like, does his remorse make him less evil if he continues to do the same actions, or or is it better just to like own
who you are,
like Lestat? And it took me a second to understand kind of what was going on. Felt a little bit like a slow, but overall I enjoyed it. At the end, like by the end, I was like, oh, this is like kind of a cool, especially for spooky season, for vampire stuff. And then after afterwards, reading more about it and then like thinking about it, I was like, oh, okay. Or like reading more about the author and, you know, the backstory of who wrote it, what it's based off of, and then, you know, the college papers of like what it symbolizes. I was like, okay, I can see it now. It was weird to see when you guys were like Brad. I was like, oh, Brad Pitt's in it. It's like young Brad Pitt. It's like Legend of the Falls Brad Pitt. It wasn't Legend of the Falls. I mean, it was the same era, but he had vampire things.
And he was like clothed. And the French manicure.
Yeah, those nails are gross. Like, Antonio Banderas specifically, the roundness really eked me out. I was like, what? Who's manicurist?
Like this round, like, French manicure, but
disgusting.
Like, a natural? Why?
Ooh.
Why? And Tom Cruise didn't, but he didn't have long nails. Like, he had normal nails, but he had the one silver pointy nail.
Oh, yeah, his bleeder.
Well, actually,
slice them open.
After we started talking about the nails, it took me out of it a little because if you go by the hair cutting thing, they should always have the same length of nails. So the fact that Brad Pitt's nails changed length, I was like, somebody's not paying attention.
Yes, and his wigs. I swear his hair was different. It was either darker or lighter, and it also got a little longer towards the middle. And I was like,
which is
wow.
not possible. If you're a vampire, it stays the same.
Right.
Or at least in that lore, anyway.
Right, because Kirsten Dunst, the little girl, she cuts her hair. She tries to cut it all off, and then it grows back instantly. So we know that it doesn't. You can't. What?
Can't change it up.
So yeah, the inconsistencies were tough.
Yeah.
To the clock, because I didn't, obviously, as a teenager, I was just like, there's Brad Pitt and he's gorgeous, and like, and the homoerotic tones. I'm not even gonna say undertones, but the actual tones of Tom Cruise's character Lestat being in love with Louis.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. It was just so obvious, you know, and like I'm shocked that in the early 90s this was like the content that was coming out. I just feel like there would have been a lot more uproar about it.
It's an interesting juxtaposition if you want the AMC show.
Oh, right.
Because they are in a homosexual relationship in the AMC show.
Yeah.
And they're both gorgeous men.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, actually interesting because they do just go for it.
Right. Instead of just like pausing, they were just like...
Yep.
They just stared and then like moved. I was like, okay.
I swear to God, when he didn't kiss Antonio Banderas, I was like,
come on. Kiss him.
It's too slow.
It's so slow. Yeah.
Wait, the AMC show, when did that come out?
2022.
22.
Okay, that's the one that's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couple seasons. I think it just got renewed for the 4th or something. I was reading.
I believe they've just released 2, like, not that long ago, and I don't... If they're already filming 4, then I haven't heard anything about 3. So I think
well, it
they
must have been
filming
3.
3.
Yeah, I read it got renewed for a new season. That's all it said. You know?
So I had a bunch of clients who were part of the filming, and it was super exciting to get to edit together clips of them filming the series in different parts of New Orleans.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like I had one of my venues was in it, Dervais Mansion. One of my florists did a ton of the flowers and like did flowers around like taxidermied animals and stuff. And they were representing the like a vintage Mardi Gras ball.
Wow.
And it was gorgeous. And at the time we had another client who was the venue for that as well. So like Dervais held the wedding of Louis' sister, and then one of our florists on our roster, she did all the flowers for the Mardi Gras ball at Latrobe's.
Wow.
And yeah, absolutely gorgeous. And just getting to see all of that come together and then like edit together to be like, hey, look, we worked on this amazing thing. It was so freaking
That's
cool.
so cool.
Especially because I have such a passion for interview with the vampire. Anyway, it was like, oof, it was so exciting.
That's way cool.
Yeah,
I can't wait to watch it. Because I actually did like this movie. Like, I thought I would be distracted by... I mean, I was, but too distracted to enjoy it by all the, you know, outdated effects and like, you know, the acting from the 90s.
Or the cold cuts.
The
Which might be
cold
artistic.
cuts.
I don't know enough about film. That's not my expertise.
I actually felt like the effects aged well.
They did. I think like the close-up ones where they like show like the healing of the vampire was like really well done.
Yeah, I did too.
But then like some of the fires and like stuff, I was like, okay.
Wait, you looked up the budget. What did you say the budget was?
It was $60 million
That's
In
insane.
93.
in '93. That's
Do a
insane.
converter to see what that's. in today's.
I mean, that has to be almost $500 million. I don't know. Like, that's got to be a lot. Well, because Tom Cruise probably has like $25 million contracts per movie. I don't know if he did back then, though. You know?
Seeing him as a blonde was so off-putting.
Oh, it's not good.
I didn't recognize him. I was like,
It's not good.
Who is this guy?
Sometimes you're born perfect and you just got to stay that way. You know? It would be like
Tom Cruise.
That's not what I think about Tom Cruise.
You don't think he has a beautiful face? No?
I
don't think he's attractive, but I feel like he's good. Like he's.
You know what's so funny?
beautiful.
Once somebody reveals their personality to me and I don't like it, it's really hard for me to find them attractive.
Sure.
Incredibly difficult.
Like,
I'm not attracted to him. I'm just saying objectively, he's got a great
Even
face.
that.
No?
Like, I specifically remember this guy in high school who was mean to his girlfriend, and everyone's like, oh my god, he's so hot. And I was like, but he's a douche.
Right.
Like, that is not a man I'm attracted to whatsoever. Like, but can't you just say that he's attractive? Like, nope.
No. Sorry.
So, I don't know. Scientology, not
Your boner has
attractive.
has a moral compass.
Boner has a moral compass. You know what's funny? My mom would be so proud to hear that. The thing I appreciate is that I was offended that this was here because you thought I was going to be too loud, and then I immediately cackled at a level that was...
You know what? I actually have... Well, I have the fun fact that you shared with us. You want to share it about Brad Pitt?
So Brad Pitt apparently hated his character, and not only... So he thought that the character didn't really have redeeming qualities and like was kind of just like angsty and a little one-sided and kind of boring is what I read. And then also he hated the filming in general because it was like 6 months of filming in the dark. And he was really over it.
That's got to be depressing.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
his hair changes color to dark because he just never got to get out in the sun.
oh, and he's just sad. He's just a sad boy.
Yeah.
Little sad vampire.
Dying it.
It's so hard to be hot and live forever.
It has to be hot and eternal.
Right? It's not like you're ugly and living forever. Like, you're fucking Brad Pitt. Okay. You're fine. So I feel like if you look at the other two characters that we see, Tom Cruise and Kirsten Dunst and their characters, like, they do live and they do enjoy it. So, like, I truly do think he's just a little bit of an angsty boy and can't. I almost wish, like, now seeing, modern day Dexter and stuff like that, like, just kill the evil people. That's a story. I watch that story all day.
Well, that's what they said. The evil ones taste better.
Yeah.
So, like, great. Eat the evil ones.
Eat the evil ones.
Be your Batman.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
The vigilante vampire. Aww.
Is that a movie?
It should be.
Except for if you could go out for, go get some white collar crime instead of just
There you
to pet the
go.
blue collar as a white collar.
Yeah, but do you think
that's
Trump would
a-
taste? You think Trump's blood would taste the best? Really?
Like Cheetos. I love a Cheeto.
I think it is interesting. It was interesting that they explored like the morality of death or half death, and how, I don't remember him. Maybe I missed it. Him like thinking about his previous life as a human. He wasn't really like worried about it or judging himself or going through like the angstiness about like, oh, well, I should have done this when I was a human, which I kind of thought was interesting. Like,
Well, he'd already had a wife and a kid who both passed away.
right.
So that's like really, he was
Just
already
that.
like, it was interesting because they started off with him just being completely unsatisfied with his life.
Right.
Right. And then he was completely unsatisfied with his death.
Yeah, right.
He only started caring about his human life when
Yeah.
there was no chance of him dying.
Yeah.
Right. And really,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like he really cares about his living. He cared about missing out on sunrises.
Right.
And he cared about the
Which-
morality of killing people.
Right.
But like, I don't think he really missed being alive.
No, and I don't think he questioned like his morality while he was alive either. Like he wasn't like, oh, well, maybe I should have done this. And
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't be going to the quarters and taking advantage of the girls that work for me.
Yeah,
Maybe
just
this is
don't
karma.
suck
I don't
the
know.
Work.
blood.
I guess I shouldn't say work. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't get paid, so it's not work. It's
Right.
just-
They weren't. They were just there, weren't they?
They were just slaves. Yeah.
Great.
Not good.
You know what? I think it's time for a break. This episode of the Movie Moms is brought to you by Sac Rooted. Sac Rooted is a local apparel company based here in Sacramento, and their mission is to bring us all together one shirt at a time. All of the materials used in these shirts are here from Sacramento. It's printed here in Sacramento. Everything is locally based. And their mission is to build up the community here. And we love them and support them and thank them for sponsoring our amazing podcast. You can find your Sacrooted apparel at sacrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com. But I feel like we should maybe move on to some things that we didn't love about this movie. Do you know?
Oh, I definitely know.
What's off the top of your head? What do you hate about this?
The theater of vampires, of vampire theater, whatever it was, what they go travel to. I think I understand why it's in there. And honestly, it's been so long since I've read the book that I can't recall it in the book. But I think it's there to show the juxtaposition of what those vampires find disgusting is that Louis and Claudia killed a vampire. And then you see the two of them thinking that those vampires are disgusting for torturing the woman and making it a thing. But like in general, that's so grotesque and so out of character with the rest of the film that it sticks out really poorly. Like to me, it sticks out poorly.
Yeah, it's the one thing I was like literally thinking about in the middle of the night. I was like, why did they have to like strip this teen girl?
No, she wasn't a teen.
She's a woman.
She was a woman.
Okay, barely. Strip her down naked in front of this audience just to eat her. Like, what are you doing? And they put on this whole production. But then I was like, maybe it's all these like old thespians from Shakespeare's day, and now they're vampires, and they don't know any better or anything else.
That's an interesting take. I like that.
So I was the only way I could excuse it.
That
This is so weird.
where they are all wearing those black cloaks and like just snap on her.
Devour
They
her.
always look like trash bags to me.
Yeah.
I don't like that either.
And it covers up what's going on. And
Yeah.
I was like, well,
I think that was on purpose. I'm sure that's a rating issue. Like we don't want.
but they
What was the
saw
rating
some-
above
It was R.
It was X.
Oh, X. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, X is above.
Or like
X.
X7-17 or something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I think they were trying to avoid the one up them.
What
could
you already saw her fully frontally nude.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't kill her. What's wrong with you?
But to put
Women
some
naked
fake,
is one thing.
but to have blood on the naked
ew.
woman, do not soil.
You can have blood, insinuate blood, as her nipples bleeding out.
Right. There were so many like incision shots. I thought of you
I
every
can't handle
time
incision.
because it would just be like blood. The fucking the thumb cutter opener, whatever. Yeah, the can opener on his thumb.
Yeah.
You just like slice.
Meanwhile, I don't think of it as a gory film. So it's
No.
interesting to see it through your perspective of like, but I'm sure you never watched Nip Tuck then, right? Nip Tuck
No,
was not for you.
no. Even for my own like pregnancy classes, I just close my eyes during C-section day.
Yeah,
I can't watch.
And then you had a C-section, right?
I did.
Yeah.
They have
same.
a curtain up.
curtained up.
They have a curtain from chest up, so you can't see past. And I also almost passed out, so it didn't matter.
Did they have Dave take pictures of you?
Not during it.
No.
They
when he came out though.
no, they were like, "Don't look, husbands. We're not. It's not about you. Don't look beyond the
How
curtains. You're gonna
fascinating.
pass out."
So when Charlie was pulled out and they were like holding him up, they're like, "Okay, Dad, get the camera. Let's get the camera." So Ben had all these photos of my literal organs on the table, and he would not let me see them for years. I just accidentally came across them like this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, that was a good choice."
That was a good call.
Because my undiagnosed postpartum, I don't think I could have handled seeing my like innards on the outer
Like
table.
your literal organs moved
They
out of the way.
Literally. Oh, yeah, 100%. They take out like so many flipping things.
What do they take out? Intestines, right?
They take out your
Intestines.
organs. They'll just put them in bowls. Your
Yeah,
organs.
Bold.
It's definitely your intestines, and I think there's one or two
Your stomach?
major organs that they
gotta cut
No,
through.
your stomach's higher.
They
so I
gotta
don't
cut
know.
through 7 layers.
Yes. Yeah. Speaking of gory,
Yeah. Way
C-sections.
gorier.
True. Love that.
As much as I hated an unmedicated birth, I would take that recovery 10 times out of 10 over a C-section
Yeah.
recovery.
absolutely. Well, I've only given birth
Yeah.
once, so I can't do that. But
I
yeah,
hated
it was
everything
intense.
about.
Ah.
I mean, some people might. Sorry if you're getting a C-section. Maybe it's great. Some people love it.
Some people schedule them, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
you,
did not.
but-
It was not easy.
Anyway, we've gone completely off track.
It's okay. It's still motherhood related, so we're good.
I very distinctly remember a marriage counselor of ours being like, oh, we haven't even discussed your birth. I have a feeling it was traumatic. I was like, how do you know?
Because every birth is fucking traumatic.
That's it. Right there.
It really is. It does suck that, like, it's not part of the discussion of motherhood, you know, like.
It does. I got postpartum, I can't remember what the damn phrase is, but it was like something in my wrist, and I had to go to PT for weeks and weeks and weeks after, because my wrists were and I thought it was because of where they put the IV.
Oh, shit.
But it just turns out that there's this postpartum thing where your wrists get effed up, and like nobody tells you. So I was suffering, and they were like, "Can you just go to the doctor? Go get PT or OT or whatever." And I was like, "How come nobody told me that I should look out for like a wrist issue?"
Yeah, how come it's on my list of concerns?
Correct. But meanwhile, I did not read What to Expect When You're Expecting, because I was like, I don't need to know all that.
Let me tell you,
terrifying.
they don't cover anything like that.
They don't cover postpartum.
Nothing scary enough to be like, don't have a kid, or like maybe think twice. It's not.
Think about it.
I have so much to say about the things they don't teach you, especially about birthing and motherhood and different things, or postpartum.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There's not enough information about postpartum.
No.
I think they told this story of your pregnancy is going to be beautiful and you're going to glow and you're going to whatever. And that was not my experience. I was uncomfortable the entire pregnancy.
Me too.
When I knew I was pregnant almost immediately, which was crazy. Ben was like, there's no way you're already pregnant. And I was like, something's different, and I think it's this. Mm-hmm. And then in my first trimester, I don't think I've ever been that exhausted. Like, even now, dealing with a newborn, dealing with all the things that I dealt with after he was born, I think I was still more tired in that first trimester than I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
So exhausted. I would come home from work, and now I did walk around a lot at that time for work. So I would come home from work, fall asleep on the couch, Ben would make dinner, I'd wake up and eat it, and then I would go to bed.
Sounds awesome.
But, like, ain't that glowing?
Right. I'm not glowing.
No, there's no glow.
I'm sweating.
My mom was like, I would be pregnant for money because I loved it so much. And I was like, I will never be pregnant again.
No, it was a lot. I thought it was my situation. Like, I didn't have like a loving like partner that we were excited together. It was like very much cool. This is happening. Like, let's figure it out, you know? And so I thought maybe that was part of, and maybe it was contributed to a little of my depression, but I just remember being so fucking depressed and like annoyed that like this thing was taking over my body in a way that I didn't expect. Like before it felt like something that was separate from your body. When you're experiencing it, you realize, oh no, it just is my body doing something, and then it separates later, you know? And I did not like any of it. It was exhausting. It hurt. Everything still hurts.
Dude, to sleep? The amount of pillows and contraptions I bought to be able to sleep.
7-8 pillows. Just to
and
sleep
like
for 20 minutes.
For 20 minutes. Yeah, that was an... Were you glowing?
No.
I feel like we've talked about this.
No, that was not glowing. And I had a bunch of liars around me that said you were glowing. And I looked back on pictures and I was like, that's very kind of you to lie back then. That's not glowing.
That's sweat.
Yeah.
And
sweating my ass off.
Undiagnosed Cushing's at the time, so I'm at the beginning of my, besides pregnancy, also the beginning of like my moon phase. Mm-hmm.
Which is wild
red
to see.
and with Eiley, and I feel like it's probably like whatever wives' tales about like with girls, like there ain't nothing cute about it. My hair is shit. My skin is now shit. My nails are shit. Everything about and I got pregnant in the fittest, the healthiest I've ever been, which makes sense as a 23-year-old who's very healthy, is probably very fertile. But I was like, I made it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. And I'm like, there
hair's falling out.
My hair's going out.
So it's so funny because I feel like people are like, oh, old wives' tales are crap. Like, they just don't, none of them make sense. And I'm like, oh no. To me, like, so I had a boy and I only gained weight in my stomach and I just had this gigantic stomach. And like from the back, I didn't have a big behind. So like that stayed. But,
correction, great behind. Go ahead.
She's caked up.
Yeah.
But, you know, I turn around and surprise people.
Sure.
And they're like, oh. Oh. So did you find weight gain different from Eiley to Barrett?
I'm a little bit of a special case because I got progressively more sick beyond and it was unknowingly. I did not know. I didn't find out. I wasn't diagnosed with Cushing's till after I knew I was pregnant with Barrett. And so, no, I had been gaining weight over the years due to an overproduction of cortisol in my body.
I feel like overproduction is an understatement.
Yeah. Due to a tumor mass growing on my adrenal glands that caused an overproduction of cortisol in my body. So I I can show you pictures. You know, I was still like a very active person, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Yeah. So no, for me, no, I was the biggest I've ever been when I was pregnant with Barrett, but that I found out later was due to my body and hormones and whatnot. But I thought it was like
just like dumping cortisol.
You gained weight all over with Eiley. Because that's one of the things. Like old wives are like, girls, you gain weight all over, and boys, you gain it in the tummy.
I think yes, but I also again they were probably like, well, you probably start, and I got shingles with Eiley, and I got all kinds of. Dang. I was just everything. My hair was like thin, and I mean it's already thin, but it like. I was like, it was noticeable. I was like, why does everything look terrible?
Why do I look like garbage and feel like garbage, but I should be glowing?
There's a parasite eating all of your nutrition. Like, just so we're clear. There's a parasite in your body eating everything that's good that you're putting into it.
You're making her you're giving her your beauty. We'll stop.
You're giving her your beauty? What the frick said that to you? That's mean.
They're taking your beauty.
Just like a vampire! What a segue.
Oh, kids are vampires. I'll second that. Kids are vampires in
emotional vampires, energy vampires.
Every sense of the word. That's the most connected they feel to this film now. Kids are vampires. Financial vampires, they'll bleed you dry without trying. For probably ever. I'm still somewhat leeching off of my parents every once in a while.
That's true. Every time I'm just like, you know what? We only got like 16 more years. And I'm like, wait, I still borrow money from my parents. What am I talking? Oh, this is forever. Got it. Yeah, got it.
Sick. Emotionally, for sure.
Okay, so can I ask my mom a question about this then?
Please do.
Okay, so my big question after I watched this as a mom was, if I was given the option, if I knew my child was going to die from the plague or COVID. You know, whatever. Yeah. The modern plague.
Something terminal.
And somebody was like, we can turn him into a vampire so he can at least live a life. Or he'll die of this awful plague. Which would I choose? Mm-hmm. So I want to hear your answers first.
Well, am I living? I'm already a vampire?
You're gonna die.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah, you've got the plague.
See,
you gave it to him.
See, that... right.
Well, that wasn't explained in the question.
You're right.
You can't just both choose eternal life?
No, I would totally choose eternal life. But that's
I would too. I would choose it for both of us. Yeah.
No way.
But if I'm gonna die and she's not, here's the only thing about eternal life that turns me off.
She'll die if you don't make her a vampire.
Yeah, but she's gonna die still.
Yeah, I'm dying. You'll die, and she'll die if you don't make her a vampire, or she can live as a vampire.
See,
because that's Claudia's situation.
I know, and I think the part about immortality is like you have to watch all the people that you meet and love die. You have to watch your mom die now, your dad, your loved ones, your friends, and then you're gonna make more friends, and they're gonna die, and you're not, and like all that grief and suffering is something I don't know if I'd want to wish upon my daughter. But I mean, of course, the mama bear instinct in me is like save the child, no matter what, you know. So like, part of me wants to let her be a vampire, but if I'm not gonna be a vampire, I don't know if I would. If I'm gonna die instantly, she has to watch me die. I don't know.
What if you're a vampire?
Oh, then we're both vamping it up.
Or like, I guess, what if...
That's 100%. I feel like that's an easier question.
I won't.
Yeah.
No,
you
wouldn't?
won't? Okay, tell me. Wait, I want to know both scenarios though.
Yeah,
okay,
then tell me
the first one is you would die, they would live as vampires or die with you.
They're dying with me.
They're dying with you?
They're dying with me.
Holy moly, okay.
Sorry,
and then
kids.
if you could both be vampire, all three of you could be vampires.
We're dying.
You're dying still?
We're still dying.
We all be dying.
Damn, you be killing some people.
I didn't kill anybody. We died of natural deaths. Or from illness. We did not. I didn't murder. I didn't say I'm murdering my children.
I feel a little twisted then, because I would totally have him be a vampire so he could... See, my brain didn't go where yours did. My brain went to, like, travel. Like, think of all the places he could see if he got to live.
Forever.
Really... Well, and here's the thing. It seems to me that there's no vampire that lives forever.
You're right.
In any of the stories, and I love me some vampire stories. I like classic I like Dracula. I love True Blood.
Didn't Dracula live on forever though? No.
No, he got staked.
Oh, he got staked.
I feel
That's right, because eventually someone's gonna be mad. At
eventually
you
someone's gonna
and
kill you.
Yeah.
But in the longevity of the amount of years you could live, think of all the things you could see.
It's true.
Like I would go for it.
Yes.
Riddle me this. Depending on your vampire lore, you don't get to eat garlic for the rest of your life.
See now.
But do I get to see every amazing thing that exists?
Not in Italy, because there's too much garlic.
Can't even cross the border. Too much garlic.
Garlic. Crucifixes. They are the most prepared for vampires
You're right.
in Italy.
They're the most anti-vampire for sure.
Yeah.
How
You're right.
hysterical is that? You're so right.
Maybe they know. Maybe they used to be the vampire hub. And then
They're
now-
not that far from. It's just a hop, skip, and a little boat ride away
Transylvania?
from. Well, not exactly. I mean, it's Croatia but it borders a lot of the Anias. You know,
And the Anias.
being the Romania, Slovenia.
I love a good Ania. You know?
Do you? I can't believe you're killing off everybody. I mean, I know they're dying of natural causes.
yeah.
but I'm
We're
surprised.
all dying.
Do
Yeah.
you think that's your like Catholic upbringing?
Well, probably.
Okay, just curious.
I also
Like
read
as an atheist, as like a blatant atheist,
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, live on, kill the people,
Live on, eat the
see
people.
all the sights.
See, but maybe it's the selfish side of me where I'm like, no, if you're living it forever or whatever for hundreds of years, bitch, I'm coming too. Like,
Oh, for sure.
You know?
No, if that was my choice. If I
If
could
that was a choice,
pick,
of course. We
yeah,
do it
they're
together,
like,
but-
no, we'll take the dying plague mom and the kid.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
hell yeah.
Because also, like, my poor 7-year-old is a vampire. Like, who's going to take him seriously?
Right.
How would he
Who's-
travel alone?
Who's gonna take him in and teach
Yeah.
him how to be a vampire?
Right.
but that's the
Do you
other
think
thing.
he would be? Do you think Charlie would be an emo vampire though? Do you think he would get in his feels like Brad Pitt
No.
did? No,
No,
he'd just have fun.
he'd so be Claudia. He'd be like, oh, I can bite you and get the toys that I want?
Right.
Done.
Oh, all I have to do is just like eat you, which
Yeah.
feels good, and
Yeah.
then I can get free toys too.
Correct. Yeah. No, done.
Done. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I think
you want
the
to
kid.
see.
That's the kid part.
For
you know?
sure.
Yeah.
I think he
want-
would be pissed though that somebody like removed me from the equation.
Yeah,
Like, So
right.
he would have that angst that
The
Claudia
vengeance.
has, and the vengeance for sure. But yeah, no, he would be down. For,
Yeah.
like the other parts. Like, he loves.
That would be
travel
Barrett,
and-
too.
I was
Don't
gonna
you
say,
think that'd
you
be
want
better?
to see Barrett as a 3-year-old vampire forever.
I mean, in a movie, I sure do.
In a movie situation,
In my
yes.
real life, no, because I'll die.
thank you.
Like,
Full-
third. I feel like I'll die
full-
third or fourth.
Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't even know he bit me. Like he's just like,
Full cities in 45 minutes of a meltdown.
just it'll take one meltdown to take down a
One
whole
meltdown.
I mean, could you imagine
I love
a
it.
surfer dude vampire though? Like,
You know,
I've
but I
never
feel like
seen
his
that.
feral side would come out. Like he
Oh,
is,
heck
he
yeah.
is the dude. Like that's his vibe. but then he has that feral side where I feel like that would be the part that the vampire toxin. What is it? The gene? I don't know what it is.
Sure.
That it would
but he still
enhance
looks.
that part.
He still looks like a surfer dude.
He'd
Like,
have the
you-
appeal. He'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, listen, you want to go surfing?" And then take him out in the waves and just eat
eat
him.
them.
Shark attack! Shark attack!
If you bit me, if he was like, "Can I eat your wrist blood?" I'd be like,
Could I
yes.
have
Here you
could
go.
I have your finger, please? And you're like, "Yes, sure. You're the cutest thing ever." And then he would just
Yeah.
like, yeah,
You'd be dead.
I know.
Okay, so then you had a question that was related but slightly different.
Yeah, I wanted to know if you had the choice to preserve, like, let's say that you and your husband have been turned, okay? Edward and Bella style.
Turned.
You've been turned. And now you have this, like, human baby. When do you preserve them? Like, when do you bite them and turn them? At, like, what age would you preserve them at? And it could be a future one, because maybe we don't know him yet. Maybe, like, the 21-year-old version of Isla is the best.
Right.
For me, like, probably 4. I think 4 was my favorite age so far. I've only had 6. But so far, 4 has been my favorite, where I would preserve just that, I don't know. Maybe I couldn't preserve, like, that light in her eyes that she had at 4 that was
No,
just, like,
'cause it's
so free, but
It's replaced with like bloodlust.
death.
So,
Yeah, so. I'll still stick with 4,
You're still
but
sticking with
now I'm
4?
going to think
But
about that tonight.
Think about the logistics of a 4-year-old vampire. Are you sure you would pick 4? Because, like she said, she's taken out of town, 45 minutes. You hit everybody because I'm cute
She got all the
and I'm
energy.
hungry.
Yeah, she's got all the energy. Yeah, true. What are you picking?
Well, I have a clarification question.
Okay.
Are you, when you, in this hypothetical situation, if you change her at 4, is she, maturity-wise 4 forever?
No.
Or is
No.
it the situation?
Body only.
Body only.
No, then my child's getting bumped up to a mature body.
I think I stick to 18 to 21. I would change him maybe in that area.
See, I don't want her to
23,
have
24.
sexuality yet. I don't want her to have a sexuality consciousness
Interesting.
and be a vampire. I
But
feel
you
like
just
would
said
be-
that she
and I
matures
feel like-
eventually.
She does, but her body doesn't.
Body doesn't, so she's a 4-year-old.
She can't lure somebody in because she has got her titties out. She can lure somebody because she's
Yeah, but she
tiny and
can
cute.
then she's pretty things or ugly things or whatever the hell that weird movie we watched was.
Poor things.
Poor
Don't
things.
do it.
That things.
I still haven't watched it because
Good.
of this podcast, just by the way.
but the opposite. Now she's a horny 4-year-old.
Yeah, that's too creepy. For me.
But not in the
Right.
developmentally appropriate way, in the way
Right.
that she might actually pick up something.
Right.
Yeah, but are
So-
vampires having sex, or they're just?
Oh yeah.
Why?
Well, I guess it
would
depends. It depends on which of the lores you view.
Well, because you're True Blood.
True Blood, they be having all the sex.
They be having the
And
sex.
They be having the sex, and they did change a girl who was she was brought up Christian. She was saving herself for marriage. I think she was 18 or maybe 17, and she was a virgin. And so every time she had sex as a vampire, he re-broke her hymen. And I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on this show.
Sure, of course. I'm just that I didn't
Popped her
expect that to be the
Yeah, he
thing.
re-popped the cherry. That's you can edit that. Re-popped the cherry.
Was that depicted on screen?
Yeah.
Oh.
And the pain of it, and she was so mad, and she went back to her, vampire daddy, and was like, "You did this to me, and I hate it."
Oh, like he cursed her with that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because
right.
everything grows back, right? So every time she's re-virginized.
Oh, he should have fucked her and then turned her.
I mean, he wouldn't have though, because he was a moral vampire too. Bill's a moral vampire. Oh God, I love me some True Blood.
Actually, wasn't Edward Cullen a moral vampire too, or
Yes.
no? Okay.
Because Stephanie Myers
Yeah.
is Mormon.
I didn't feel like there was a lot of Mormon undertones though. Like there was no suggestion of religion in those movies. No,
not overtly.
maybe in that way.
Not
Yeah.
overtly. It was definitely nuanced. It wasn't.
Sure.
It wasn't It wasn't a book that was come to Jesus. There was no talent to that.
Become a vampire or be
Come to Jesus.
Yeah.
Or
Come to
Through
Jesus.
vampires.
Come just blood sucking.
No,
Like,
but
can I do both?
in the Twilight lore of vampires, so right, Bella's human, Edward's a vampire. They get pregnant while she's still human. She
Right.
doesn't want to turn yet. The baby's vampire. Then they're like, what happens to vampire babies? Blah blah blah. But it turns out that vampire babies in that lore, they grow at a rapid pace, but then freeze at an ideal age.
Well, that's convenient.
Yeah.
So
So
that is convenient. And what's the ideal age though? It just
It's-
depends on the person.
no, I think for most of them it was in that something between 18 and 24, a legal age.
Yeah. It's where drinking and sex are no longer inappropriate.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you're married.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
If
you're Mormon.
you're
Mormon
married,
vampire.
duh.
I do think it's interesting, all of the cross and contradictory vampire lore.
Yeah.
Because in this movie, he says the thing about crucifixes is not correct. The thing about the light is incorrect. So there was, I feel like
that
I
would've
read
been
a
part of it.
book, or maybe it was in Interview with the Vampire, where it's we made those up so you guys couldn't tell that we were vampires. It's the reflection in the mirror, that's pretend, you can see a vampire in the mirror, or can't you? And in True Blood, they respect so many vampire lore
Oh.
things. So
Right.
stake to the, that was the thing. He said the stake to the heart doesn't count. And I'm
Right.
in whose world does
Right.
a stake to the heart not kill you? Because that kills a person.
But how'd they kill? So they had to burn, either chop them in half to
In
kill
the movie?
in
Yeah,
this
he
in this
burned
movie.
and sliced them in half. Yeah.
Yeah, so you had to slice them in half, then burn them.
And
to make
sunlight.
Sure.
Right.
Sunlight was a no-no.
And sunlight.
Sunlight.
Sunlight seems to be always.
Yeah.
But wait, doesn't Edward
He
twinkle?
sparkles.
He
It gives him
sparkles.
away.
Sparkles in the sun. So how is he in the sun?
he doesn't. They live in Fork, Washington, so it's rainy most of the time when they go camping. Conveniently,
it's like 300 days. Yeah.
That's hilarious. And in Vampire Diaries, they have like charmed necklaces or rings or something. Yeah.
Oh, to keep them from the sun. Yeah.
See, and they're just so attractive. You don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
Just like, of course, you're sparkling.
Those boys are so pretty.
No, not Team Stefan. Team Other Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, Team Other Brother. Yeah.
But they're both pretty.
Yeah.
If you were a vampire, would you eat pretty people or would you eat the ugly, evil ones?
Oh, pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was going to ask you guys, would you choose the bear, the vampire, or the man? Just to go roll full circle.
Love. Okay. All right. I'll probably,
I feel like you have to take the bear out though, right? Like the bear and the vampire kind of are the same.
Well, see, I was gonna take the vampire so that I could eventually just take out the man and the bear.
Sure.
You know, eat the evil man.
Yeah.
Probably tastes good. Eat the man. Eat the man.
Eat the bear.
We're keeping the bears. We're keeping the bears. Eat the man. Eat the man.
That's the cold open.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because wouldn't it be like all four of us are in the woods, and I'd be like, "Cool, vamp, let's do this. We'll eat the bear and the man together
Hell yeah.
as eternal lovers."
Again, especially
He's hot.
Obviously, he's hot. Yeah.
if it was right now, and especially if I didn't have like kids and other real world things to think about,
sure.
alone in the woods, and there's hot made up creature, I'm like, I read this book. I read this book. You're gonna be mean to me. Then we're gonna be enemies to lovers.
You're gonna mansplain to me.
Proximity. I'm gonna have to stick. This is the fantasies I've been reading about.
Correct.
I'm in. He's like, what did you say? You're supposed to run away. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'll play the game.
Okay,
I'll play the game.
Oh, no.
Don't fight me.
Let me throw this axe I don't have at you.
Oh,
or
no.
this dagger I don't know how to use at you.
There was this book a long time ago. I think it's Tuck Everlasting.
I loved Tuck Everlasting.
Right.
I can't remember anything about it. I just remember loving it.
Yes, I loved it so much. It was kind of that. It was like you drank this water from this natural spring and you could live forever.
Oh, okay.
And there was the natural consequences of like, you should do it, you shouldn't do it, why you should and shouldn't. And so I feel like reading that book is like it prepped me for this podcast. In that, like, eternal life seems tempting and like, yeah, I want to see all the things and do all the things. Yeah. But I feel like there does become this moment after living after 500 years, which is inconceivable. But like after living that long, would you be bored? Would all the things have any resonance anymore? You lose all the people you love, and then do you lose that like respect for life? Which I feel like a lot of those vampires kind of did, you know, like Tom Cruise and like Antonio Banderas' character. Like clearly, they don't really have a lot of respect for human.
No, but they do seem to respect other vampire lives, if that makes any sense. Yeah,
strange.
So
and like vampire history, it seems like Brad Pitt's character was like really so fascinated with like who was the first, where did we come from. You know, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Whereas I feel like if I became a vampire, I'd be like, yeah, no, all bets off. It's party twine. We're going to go see some stuff. We're going to travel the world. They always seem rich. Vampires always seem like they're rich.
Well, yeah, because go ahead. Yeah. Put me in jail. Like, I'll just outlive y'all.
Is that what it is?
No.
Is it they steal it? Or are they like investing in stocks and bonds?
You just suck the blood of the cashier at the bodega. And you steal the register, and now you get all the money.
Oof. I wonder if my morals about not stealing eliminate.
That was my question. Dead. My question was, does your morality die with your mortality? Like, does it align with it? Does your mortality affect your morality? In that you only have a certain amount of time here. I don't want to spend a lot of time of it in jail. Does it affect the value of things?
I think yes, and the largest reason being religion. I think because so much of religion is focused on what happens after we die, or what am I striving for after death, or like where do I go? And if you're like they say in the movie, like we have the same power of God. Yeah. Like we don't need to fear, you know, like if you're at that level, then you're like, well, I'm not doing, my moral code isn't, even though I would like to think I do things morally, not just because I'm like afraid I'm going to be smoked.
Right.
Don't think that speaks to me because I know so many moral people who are not religious. So, like, I don't feel... I don't see it, but I also was raised completely differently from you. So, like, as we've discussed, like, if I were turned vampire now, nearly 40, living a very moral life, my whole life, and then being like, yeah, well, now, like, there are no consequences that could really affect me. I agree with the end thing, which is like, I don't think that I would care at that point.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's because of religion. I don't think I'd be like, oh, I'm next to God
yeah.
now. Like, no, to me, that's not a reason.
Right.
It's just that, like, I've already spent 40 years being, like, super good and, like, yeah, I have a good life and it's great. But, like, I'm not sure that I would, I don't think I'd continue my morals. I think I'd try to eat the mean people.
Yeah, I think so too. I think maybe, like, I would try to at least, like, transfer something, like at least have a moral code. Maybe it would be different.
I think it would be different. Yeah, but yeah, have a moral code.
At least still have something where it's not just like slicing necks willy-nilly.
Like, I want that doll, kill him. Yeah, because
social justice vampire.
Yeah, social vigilante who loves to travel.
Yeah.
A vigilante vampire. I love it. That's our destiny, guys.
Next DC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's the next DC character.
This episode of the Movie Moms is brought to you by Sacrooted. Sacrooted is a local apparel company based here in Sacramento, and their mission is to bring us all together in one shirt. And all of the materials used in these shirts are here from Sacramento. It's printed here in Sacramento. Everything is locally based, and their mission is to build up the community here. And we love them and support them and thank them for sponsoring our podcast. You can find your Sacrooted apparel at sacrooted.com. That's SACROOTED.com. Okay, so the moral of this podcast is we're all going vamp.
Yeah.
No,
we're all going vampire.
I'm not. I'm dying. I'm killing my kids, apparently.
Except Miss Emma. She's not invited.
So, generalized pro mom tip is you can co-opt pretend play if pretend play is not your thing. You don't have to feel bad about it. You can use it and manipulate it to your advantage. And get as ridiculous with it as you'd like, or tailor it to your kid's specific needs. Like when Barrett gets tired of walking or running, be like, pretend you're Sonic and you're so fast and you have to run, and I'm Dr. Egghead or whatever the heck his name is, and I'm trying to get, like, you have to stay faster than me so I don't catch you. And then they just run. So yeah, pro mom tip, co-opt pretend play if you don't like it, and you can use it to your advantage. It doesn't work all the time, but sometimes better than none of the time.
It seems like a decent success rate, honestly, from what I've seen.
I've only seen it not work. It wasn't even like a fail. It was just like a not work perfectly once. And that's because they were hungry. Mm-hmm. So,
hungry beats.
Godspeed.
Yeah.
Okay, so my pro mom tip actually was inspired by one of my employees this week who's getting a lot of judgment from people in her life. And I think I feel like I have this mantra that I adopted from actually Jinx Monsoon.
I love Jinx.
I know you do. You know, we share an affinity for drag queens. So Jinx Monsoon, in her first season, she would say, water off a duck's back.
Yes.
And so, you know, as a person who has struggled with my own judgment of others and, like, tries to tamp that down, I also really work to not let other people's judgment affect me. And so water off a duck's back has been a bit of a mantra for me. Don't let other people's judgment affect your motherhood, especially in motherhood.
Yeah.
And don't take yourself so seriously that you think you're the most delicious.
Right.
'Cause it's probably not about you.
Probably not the best mom, probably not the worst mom.
But it's also not about you, right? Like, if someone is trying to pass judgment on you, it's really a comment on themselves and not really you. So I feel lucky to have found a bunch of parents who seem to have somewhat similar parenting moral and views and etc. But that's not always the case. And for those of you who are, like, getting told, your mother-in-law likes to tell you things, or your auntie, or somebody else's auntie, or telling you, like, oh, well, she should be walking by now, or she should be doing this, or they should be doing that, he should be, XYZing by now. Like, no, thanks. No. Kids are all different. Kids are going to do things on their own time. Let them do it. Yeah, water off a duck's back. Man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying.
Don't listen to other moms. Just
Don't
listen to yourself.
listen to other moms when it's judgment.
Yeah.
Tips are great. Tips are awesome.
So listen to us.
Well, listen to us.
Tips, but not the judgment. I guess is my thing.
Yeah, no one
off
else.
a duck's back. You are not the most delicious.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Watch Bluey's baby race episode, basically.
Also, watch Bluey.
Watch Bluey.
Okay, Big City Greens, you guys. Have you seen Big City Greens? Neither of you. I know, because you need to. Because Cricket, the main character, is Barrett. So you need to watch it. Big City Greens, it's on Disney. It's such a good show.
Okay.
They have like yellow skin, which is, I love that it's like a neutral
Yeah,
color.
yeah.
But they moved from the farm to the big city to sell their vegetables now in a bigger platform. But it's two feral kids who are just like trying to figure it out, and they always do because of like their family. Like that's the messaging, and it's so good. But it's so funny. I sit there and just like laugh my ass off for real with that show. And Isla loves it too. So Big City Greens on Disney.
Okay.
Watch it. Okay, I think we're done. I think we did it.
Woo!
We just have to plug your socials
Oh, please.
so people can find you. So tell us where everybody can find you.
Sure. So professionally, I am at Caroline Rosa Marketing. But Instagram is my preferred platform. You can also find me on Facebook.
Thank you so much, you guys, for joining us. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween!
And may bedtime come swiftly for you and yours.
Hey!
As we fall apart.